Welcome back. This is Wealth Principle 44. We've been going through the 52 weeks to wealth, and we're 44 weeks in. What we've discovered over the last 44 weeks is that there are many, many wealth principles. We're just getting started, but these last 8 are very, very powerful. A lot of emotional work involved. There's a lot of intense work involved to building your wealth. But wealth principle 44 is systemize your business so it works without you. Who here would like to make more money and do less work? Make more money, do less work. Hand to the camera if that's you. Awesome. That is a reality. That is actually how business is built. Unfortunately, most normal people don't operate their businesses that way. In fact, most normal people just want to collect money and work hard. They believe the harder they work, the more they make. Who has at some point adopted that belief system early on in life? Probably, yes. That hard work is what makes you successful. And who put that into our heads? It was probably our parents. Hands to the camera if you can remember your parents or a boss telling you the harder you work, the more you get paid, right? You do better, you work harder, eventually they'll move you up. Here's the reality. You will not move up if you work hard. In fact, you will stay exactly where you are because that's where you're most effective. So the harder you work at the task you're doing, the more likely you are to stay in that task. Does that make sense? Bosses know what I'm talking about. If you've ever had an employee before and they do really good, you want them to keep doing really good right where they're at. You don't need them anywhere else. You want them right there doing that particular thing. In fact, you get used to it. So it actually is counterintuitive and counterproductive if you're looking to move up to be really good at your job. Now, that doesn't mean don't be great at your job. In fact, you should be the best at what you do in anything that you do, but you got to start focusing on systemizing your business. Systemize everything in your life so that you can move on to more and more powerful things, better things. The idea is that mundane tasks, daily tasks like going to work, should be done without you. The money should be coming in without you going to do that work. Does that make sense? If it can be done, if it has to be done every day, then it should be automated. Write this down. If it has to be done every day, then it must be automated. If it has to be done every day, then it must be automated. And that's a very valuable principle, very powerful. We're going to bring everybody in. Before we get started, this was Black Friday weekend. Who here went shopping for Black Friday? Hands to the camera. Do you realize that Black Friday is a system? That there are people out there for decades that have been planning every single year for this one day. Yes, it makes sense that there's corporations out there planning and systematizing. They know that you come in, you fill in, and you go in. I'll take questions at the end, Andrew. Just put it in the chat or perfect. So there's questions. There's systems behind the marketing strategy that goes out weeks in advance. They're letting you know about a new product weeks in advance. The PS5 just came out. Who bought a PS5? Hands to the camera if you know somebody who bought a PS5 or have watched memes about the PS5. Yes, everybody seems to want it, except most of the people in this community have not purchased that. Fair to say? Most people here have not bought the PS5. Focused on making money, yes? Good, me too. So as I watch all the memes and I see everybody else who's focused on finding ways to spend more of their time that doesn't make money, it reminds me of how important it is for you to be spending time on what does make money, building the right systems. So there are things that you could automate right now in your life that would actually move you forward. Before I jump into some of those tactical value adds, is it okay if I tell a little story about why it's important to learn systems? Is that all right? So, and you can kind of relate to this. The other day, I came home and there was a whole bunch of laundry and it was sitting in a basket. And I looked at the basket and then I looked over at my pile where my underwear sits and I counted 10. And I said, I'm not doing laundry yet. Does that make sense? Because I haven't gotten to the point where I need that laundry. And the same thing goes for your socks, and the same thing goes for your shirts, and the same thing goes for your pants, because you realize it wouldn't make sense to go and run the washing machine every time you do one change of clothes, right? Imagine, changing your clothes twice a day, pajamas, you go and wash them in one load instead of having multiple pairs of clothes. This making sense? Now there's another one. Here's another story going back to when I used to own my single family home. And Ron, can you keep an eye on muting those lines? So there's somebody who's making a lot of noise. Yep. So when I had my single family home, there was this green stuff that used to grow out in the front yard and the backyard and my neighbors' yards called grass. And it seemed to grow excessively. In fact, the more I watered it, the more it grew. And what I did want the grass to grow, but I didn't want to have to cut it every single week. And so eventually, over time, I kept thinking about the hour of stress that it caused me, just thinking about cutting the grass. And who here can relate to who cuts grass? Who has cut grass before? Still cuts grass? Has seen grass? Knows that it grows every week? Yes. So this hour before cutting it, I'm already stressed out. I'm already thinking, man, I got to go and put the clothes on. I've got to go and get the machine going. I've got to cut this grass in the heat, the sun. My neighbor's going to be outside. They probably want to talk to me. So all these anxieties that build up before going out and cutting the grass. Then cutting my grass is about an hour. Weed whacking was about 30 minutes. And by the time it's all done, I got to put everything away, get back in the house. I'm allergic. I have such horrible allergies to grass that for the next hour afterwards, I'm sneezing. So it's a pretty miserable situation for about 4 hours. Grass takes away from me every single week. Who here can relate to at least some of that? Yes. Excellent. So I did this for 4 years while I owned my single family home. I was a slave to the house. For 4 years, I did that. And then I bought a multifamily. And in that multifamily, I started doing the same exact thing, same routine. And then I bought another multifamily, same routine. And then I moved to the south side of the city. And suddenly it just didn't make sense for me to cut the grass anymore. And I hired somebody. And for $20 a week, he was cutting the grass for me, $80 a month. But it was saving me every single week 4 hours, 16 hours a month. This making sense? Little story about automation. That's one form of automating, and that's the form of delegation. Write that down. Delegation is a form of automation. Systemizing your business, you can delegate. And then there are other ways that you can take some time out of your life, which is, for example, this, the Zoom call here. This is automated. So every single week, the Zoom link goes out. Everybody is notified. Everybody got an email and a text that the Zoom link exists. Yes. I did not text you personally from my own cell phone. I apologize. That is something that's done automatically because it would take a while to do that. We grasp that there's a system behind this. Awesome. And so when I used to previously do this event every single week, Ron used to watch me on a Monday or a Tuesday, and I'd sit there and I'd text everybody, 500 people, manually texting from my phone. And it would take me about an hour to send the text out and about 8 hours to respond back to everybody. And it would take essentially a whole day to invite everybody to one event per week. We can see how that time is not well spent. Yes. I mean, had to be done because I want to do what I'm doing right now, teaching and training, but I would lose almost a day doing it. And then we shifted to a system that does exactly the same intent that I had previously that happens automatically. So no time spent ever. It just automatically happens week on, week in, week out. We can see how much time that saves. Yes. Excellent. So that's two different forms. So systematize and delegate. So systematize and delegate. And there's a third one, and this goes towards the laundry scenario I gave you earlier, and that is batching. So you can systematize, you can delegate, and then you can batch. So write that down. Systematize, delegate, and batch. There's three different forms of automation. Now, automation is not just, okay, I get everybody to do the stuff that I don't want to do and I move forward. That is ultimately how you're going to do it. But you got to start with the things that make the most sense. There are some things you just can't automate first. You've got to automate something else before you do that. There are some things in your life right now that definitely should have been automated a long time ago. Hands to the camera if we recognize some things you should have been automated. Yes, excellent. So let's make sure we do that. Write that down. I will automate the things that I know I should automate. Write that one down real quick. And Ron, if you want to start bringing everybody in, you can bring in everybody from the attendees area, and Dorina, you can bring them in from the attendees area. And just when you come in, just keep your mic muted. So there are things in your life right now that actually don't make you money, that cost you energy. So there's energy spent in everything that we do. Just this event, to sit here and pay attention, costs energy. In fact, it also provides energy. So the more you're paying attention, you're learning things, it excites you, gives you some knowledge, but it also is taking your sitting, your posture, your breathing. There's energy being expended and energy being received. Does this make sense? Excellent. So this event can be charging. Now, I bet you if you thought about somebody in your life who is not motivated to become successful, to not have more wealth, to not get to the next level, to not be a millionaire, who just wants to get by and play some video games on their PS5, this event would probably be mind-numbing. Hands to the camera if you could think of that person right now. Awesome. Awesome. So those types of people are not thinking about systematizing and automating their business the way you are. You're different. Your energy is important. And so you want to spend more time in things that give you energy, like events, like trainings, like books, like listening to your favorite music, maybe sometimes the right food or an exercise, or sometimes just hanging out with the right person that inspires you or makes you feel good just knowing them and being around them. And that's something that raises energy, right? That's what, like, all of our free time that we're trying to create, that's what we want to do more of. Yes. We want to do more of the stuff that we like and inspires us and makes us feel good. And then on the other side, there's stuff that drains us. Perhaps having to explain to somebody why you don't own a TV or watch TV or spend all your time watching soap operas, or, you know, some things that are unproductive for your life. Those things could be draining. Or having to go and spend an hour in a room full of negative people could be extremely draining. Hands to the camera if you know what that's like. Yeah. Or a whole Thanksgiving. Some of you, I apologize. So there's two sides to what you want to delegate and what you don't want to delegate. The things that make you feel good, you don't want to delegate to somebody else, right? Spending time with your kids, spending time with your spouse, spending time with your hobbies, the things you enjoy. You don't want to delegate those. You don't want to systematize those. But you do want to delegate and systematize the things that you don't like, that either you can't get rid of or that make you money. And it's okay to systematize things that make you money. In fact, that's what pays the most. Does this make sense so far? Okay, so now we're going to do an exercise, because we always do exercise, because exercises are how you remember things, how you get to the next level. Something practical, because the power of the 52 weeks of wealth is that every single week you get a new principle and you get to go implement it. You get to go into your life and do something with it so that your life becomes more exciting. So you get to the next level. So if you're making 50,000 this year, next year, you're making 100,000. If you're making 100,000 this year, next year, you're making $250,000. If you're making $250,000 this year, next year, you're making $500,000. If you're making $500,000 this year, next year, you're making $1 million. Does this make sense? How we double our income each year? Same with your net worth. If your net worth is $500,000, it should be $1 million next year. If it's $1 million right now, it should be $2 million next year. If it's $2 million right now, it should be $5 million next year. Is it cool that I skipped the 4 million? We go straight to 5. Awesome. And for 5, we should be going for the hectomillionaire, decamillionaire. We double every single year because we can systematize better. You can add and increase systems. And in increasing your net worth and in increasing your business income, you should also be spending more time doing the things you enjoy. So first, on the left side, we're going to write down the things we enjoy. So write down one person that you just absolutely love being around. One person that you know, if you could find a way to do, if you had an extra minute or an extra hour a week, you'd spend it with that person. So write that person's name down. If you had one more hour every week, if we could automate enough to get to one more hour in your life, you would add that person to your life. Write that down. And then we're going to write down a 30-minute segment. So if you could spend another 30 minutes in something that would make you healthier, whether it's preparing the right meals, doing research on the right meals, exercising, if you could add one extra, well, we'll go for a whole hour. If you could spend one more hour per week on this activity, write that activity down. Whatever that healthy activity is, if it's reading a blog on health, or if it's actually meal prepping, an extra day at the gym, an extra hour at the gym, or if it's your first hour of health, then 10 minutes a day. So write that down, whatever that one activity is. And then we're gonna move into a mental state, whether it's earning more money or more spirituality, whether it's religious, but a mental state, something that helps your mind feel better, whether it's publicity or education, whatever makes you feel better mentally or spiritually. 1 hour of that. What that one thing, if you could, if suddenly I wiped out 3 hours, I saved you 3 hours this week, and 1 hour got to go towards health, 1 hour got to go towards your favorite person, and 1 hour got to go towards your mind, whether it was reading or education or speaking or prayer, church, religion, whatever thing your spirit requires. Write that down. Everybody has 3 things written down? Hands to the camera. 3 things are written down. Yes. Does anybody need more time? All right. So now we've gotten to 3 things that we want to do. We want to add 3 hours to our week. What are you, crazy? Each one of you wants to add 3 hours of stuff to your week. Everybody wrote something down, yes? Awesome. So now on the other side, we're going to write down 3 things that take time. 3 things that we're doing right now that feel like a waste of time. 3 things that you do every single week that just feel like a drain. They suck your energy out. They feel, just the thought of it, right? Just the thought of it drains you. And let's aim for something that takes up 3 to 4 hours. Even if it takes an hour, let's just, something that's just so draining for you mentally, write it down. And the reason we're writing this down is because sometimes there's thinking about it that drains your energy. Sometimes there's the doing it that drains your energy. Sometimes there's just the talking about it or knowing that it's out there, or the different things you have to do to remember that it exists that drain your energy. Everybody has something written down? Yes? Excellent. Now, the process for automation, delegation, and systematizing is you look at the things that you don't like, you automate them. Here are the questions you ask yourself. Is there a way that I could pay somebody? Is there a system that could do this for me? Or is there somebody else who could, that already has figured this out? Somebody I could ask to figure this out for me? Is there something I have to learn on this? Now, let me give you some examples of automation. I use virtual assistants as a form of delegation. VAs, these are other people who can go and do things for me. I have real estate agents. Where are my real estate investors at? Real estate investors, hands to the camera. Somebody who's buying real estate this year. If you're buying real estate this year, put your hand to the camera. 2021. It's already next year, right? Awesome. Awesome. Give yourselves a round of applause for making that commitment. Great job. Excellent. It's a powerful community we have here. The more you buy, the more you have. Net worth. So you're going to buy a piece of real estate this year. Here are some tools that you can use to delegate. A real estate agent, they can go out on all the appointments for you. They can write the contracts for you. An attorney can write the contracts for you. These are pieces you don't have to do. You shouldn't be writing your own contracts. You shouldn't be going and negotiating your own deals. Send a real estate agent. Marketing. If there is marketing for your business, let a wholesaler do it. Let a real estate agent do it. Let them go out and market for you. You can pay for marketing. That's okay. If you've got a good wholesaler or a good realtor out there who's going to do all the work, you can build the lists, you can pay for the marketing, but answering phone calls, in my opinion, is low quality time, unless you haven't found that person who can do that, in which case find that person. There are people that don't cost you anything to automate your business. There are systems, CRMs, websites, all sorts of systems out there that automate and speed things up. For us as investors, your job, your most pressing need is to find the next piece of property. Hands to the camera if you know what I'm talking about. That most pressing need is find the next property. And then second most pressing need is get the money for that deal, right? Get the money for the deal is important. You can automate both of those pieces. You can automate the finding the deal by reaching out to wholesalers and agents, and you can automate the raising of capital by having good conversations with the people who already own real estate, with sellers. You can automate the raising of capital by going out and meeting people who have capital, by being at networking events and then building relationships, and then setting reminders. Reminders are another form of automation, things that will remind you to go and do activities. CRMs. Everybody should have a CRM. Who here does not currently have a CRM? Customer management retention software. All right, get one. Just write it down. I'm going to get a CRM to keep track of my people. Yep, there you go. That is the highest level of automation that you can get. So a way to track other people. Super powerful. Now, daily tasks like cutting the grass. And the reason I pick on cutting the grass or washing the dishes or doing your own laundry is because it happens every single week, has to be done every single week. So these are things that take up time no matter what. When you go to work, who here owns a business? Hands to the camera if you own your own business. Awesome. Excellent. Who here works for somebody else? 9 to 5 works for somebody else. Awesome. Excellent. There is no shame in that. In fact, some of the advice I give shocks people the first time I give it is keep your job. Keep your job for as long as it takes to build the income higher, bigger, stronger than your current income. Automate, right? You're not trying to switch your job to another job. The idea is build a passive income structure, right? Just build a passive income structure. You don't have to switch a job to a job. People say, oh, I got to quit my job because the other job's taking more time. My side hustle's taking more time. Then you're building your side hustle wrong. Does that make sense? We get it? Hands to the camera if you understand. Like, you're not supposed to switch a job for a job. What you really want to do is build the right assets in the right order. Build your side business, your side hustle in the right manner, in the right order, so that it doesn't ever take 8 hours a day. You're not trying to take 8 hours a day. That's what the past has been for you. Let's get to the point where it's maybe an hour of maintenance a day. Maybe it's an hour of checking in, working on a project that expands and grows every day. Systematize your business so it works without you. Otherwise, all you've done is create yourself a job. Does that make sense? So write the sentence down. What is the one thing such that by doing it, what is the one thing such that by doing it, everything else is easier or unnecessary? What is the one thing such that by doing it, everything else is easier or unnecessary? And now you're looking at that list of one negative thing on the right side, and then the 3 positive things on the left side. And if you look at that, it's pretty easy to automate it the more we think about it, isn't it? Hands to the camera if you're noticing as this conversation goes on that there's ways you could automate these things. Yeah. Excellent. Write down underneath, I will get this done this week. Yes, I will get this done this week on all segments. 1, you're going to automate that shitty part of your life so you never have to do it again. And then you're also going to find a way to automate those 3 things that you want. Put them on your calendar. Set a reminder, contact somebody, set up an accountability schedule, whatever you have to do. But automate, systematize those 3 things that are going to make your life healthier as well. And if you're driving, Chris Hayward, keep driving. You don't have to write it down right now. See you, brother. Systematize your business so it works without you. And increase your income. Constantly be focused on increasing your income. If your business is not making money, it's not a business, it's a hobby. If your business is taking all of your time, it's not a business, it's a job. You're looking to build a business. A business operates without you. A sellable business doesn't need you. The whole point in building a business is to sell the business. I had this conversation with my brother over Thanksgiving. He said, well, some people build their business for income. I was like, those people have jobs. That's why they built their job. A business is built to grow and then sell. All the richest people on the planet have built their businesses to sell. And when I had this conversation yesterday, I had to let him know that Bezos sold his business. Elon sold his business. Bill Gates sold his business. Warren Buffett sold his business. And I know that as you're thinking about this, you're thinking, no, they still own those. Very, very small portions. They sold a majority of their business. They're just the CEOs or they're just members of the board, but they have very, very little of the company left. Does that make sense? And with only 17% of Amazon, Bezos is still one of the richest guys on the planet. I think he still is number 1, isn't he, Mike? Number 1. Well, Elon's coming. Elon's number 2 right now. He just knocked Bill Gates out. And Elon doesn't own all his company either. I know me and Mike Shine own a small chunk of it. So the idea is you want to build your business so you can sell your business. A saleable business is systematized. It's built on systems. It works without you. There are some elements that are necessary to be a part of. Those are the things that you really love. Even Elon, he does not know the numbers of his company. He just knows he's an engineer, so he likes the engineering of his companies. That's what he spends his time on. But he's not doing marketing or sales or those other elements. You do, and follow the billionaires. Follow the billionaires to see what you should be doing in your life. Automate the stuff you don't like. Like Elon has people who run finance, run operations, run sales, and then he focuses on what he likes in his business. Same with Bezos. He focuses on what he likes in his business, and then he has other people automated to do the rest. I've talked to business owners, investors, entrepreneurs, and you don't have to raise your hand if you're one of them, but we've had the conversation and say, well, like, I can't trust somebody else with the hammer. I can't trust somebody else to go do the plumbing right now. I can't trust somebody else to go and list my own property. I've got a real estate license. Or I can't trust somebody else to go cut the grass. I can't trust somebody else to go and look at the property. I have to go look at the property myself. Hands to the camera if you've ever been one of those people who believes you have to do everything at some point in your company. You don't. I know, because one of the first guys I worked for has never been to any of his properties. And he does over 100 flips a year. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's possible. It's 100% possible to automate and systematize and have the system so well that you don't have to go to the properties. To have it done where you trust other people, obviously built that trust, but there's other people who go out there. Your contractor goes out and takes a look at the property for you to give you the quote on what it's going to cost. And then from that number, you decide, okay, I'm going to continue forward or not. Does this make sense? Attorney writes your contracts for you instead of you writing your own contracts, negotiating your own deals. The attorney writes your contracts for you. Who do you want to blame if something goes wrong on a contract anyway, right? Blame the attorney. There's Mike Shine, the closer. Is this valuable so far? Hands to the camera if this is valuable so far. Excellent. The reason we do the 52 weeks to wealth every year is because, like, the stuff you are thinking about automating right now is small stuff compared to what you're going to be looking at next year. Next year, you're going to be looking at this list of things that you did throughout all 52 weeks, and you're looking and say, wow, I was thinking so small. Do you know why? It's because this year, your goal is to make what you're making this year. Next year, it's to double it. And so you can't operate with the same features that worked for this year, right? Mike Shine, 10X. You got a 10X, right? The 52 wealth principles stay the same every year. You are the one who changes. We have people in this call who make $1 million a year. You have people in this call who make $2 million a year. There's people in the call who are making 50,000. There's people who are struggling to try to figure out how to make 30. Does that make sense? But the principles remain the same. Everybody's getting value from this, right? You on this call, hands to the camera, if you've got something from this call every single week, yes? And yet none of your incomes are the same. None of your income is the same. No, not a single person here makes the same amount of money. Not a single person on this call has the same amount of net worth or the same type of investments. Each one of you is different, but the principles apply. And so next year, this principle will be working on a bigger project for you. Somebody else may be smaller, somebody else may be larger. Does that make sense? Systematizing is something that we do often. We often have to go back. So even though this is Wealth Principle 44 and we do this once a year, we really revamp and systematize something really big in our lives. That's why I made it something emotional for you, right? The emotional things that improve your life, 3 hours out of the week, and an emotional thing that's draining your life. But there are things in your business right now that really could be improved. And if you're not doubling your sales, you're not doubling your inventory, you're not doubling your net worth, something has gone wrong, right? If you look at the last 5 years and you haven't doubled over the last 5 years individually each year, something has gone wrong. Can we agree to that? Excellent. I've been doing this for 12 years. 12 years, doubling my net worth, 12 years, consistently, every single year, year on, year on. Now, I didn't start with a high net worth, so that, that made 12 years ago. I'll be honest, though, $2,000 to me was a lot. Who's ever been there where 2,000 was all you had? Yeah. We don't come into this world with a lot of money just sitting there waiting for us to go and double it. And then nobody gives you the information on how to do that. Now, here at 2020, I have to go double $2.4 million. Anybody crying for me? Hands to the camera. Anybody? No? No tears? Guess what? It's just as hard as it was when I had to double 2,000, but I had no experience, no knowledge, no skills. I had no ability to do it. I didn't know how I was going to get 4,000 when I scraped by to get 2. Does that make sense? This is because it's new to you. Every year it'll be new to you. Every year you're going to be systematizing your business so it works without you. Every year you're going to be building a new business and then systematizing that business so it works without you. Ron and I last year built this training company, systematized it, got it so it didn't need us. And now pushing up its income and again, systematizing everything we create. Mike Shine just walked away. We're going to talk about the book of the week. Before I get into it, are there any questions on systematizing or anybody who thought that their particular problem couldn't be automated? Hands to the camera if you thought your thing couldn't be automated, couldn't be delegated. Jennifer, what is yours in particular? Awesome. I'm excited to see.
Yeah, no, it's just what I do for a living, you know? It's like, no, I can't pay someone to go do, I could drive. I drive for a living
You drive for a living?
right now.
And what do you make per hour, do you think?
Probably about $20 an hour.
$20 an hour? Yeah. Do you think somebody would work for $15 an hour?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. So do you think the arbitrage would be $5 that you're making on top of that $15?
Yeah.
Okay. So scalable, something you could literally have your car running 24 hours a day at that rate, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So you could build an Uber business where your car is running for you for 24 hours a day and likely make more money than your 8-hour shift right now. Because there's no way you're driving 8 hours a day. Well, are you?
We'll see. Depends on the day. Depends on the day.
Depends on the day.
I need.
So there's a way to do it. There is one way to do it, and that is scalable. That is something you could have if you get the Tesla and have that thing automated very soon, Jen. Coming very soon, we're gonna have you completely automated out of that job. So that's everybody grasp possible? Yes. So it is possible. And even better is, Jen, sometimes, because you're just doing that for the sake of making money, right? That's the only reason you're doing it, is for the sake of making money, increase income. So sometimes you just do something different that eliminates that altogether. Hence, what is the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else is easier or unnecessary? So sometimes if all you need to make is that $20 an hour for 8 hours a day, so all you're looking at is, $180 a day, there's other things that you could do to replace $200 a day. Does that make sense? Everybody grasps that, for the average person who's making, we'll say that's $1,400 a week. To make that $1,400 a week, then all you have to do is go and replace that $1,400 with something else. Yes? And that's what a lot of this is all about. A lot of what you're doing your entire day is just trying to collect some cash. Hands to the camera if you spend most of your time collecting cash. Who here works 8 hours a day, puts in 8 hours? Excellent. Who puts more than 8 hours a day? Excellent. Who here knows people who put 8 hours a day? Who here has family members, in fact, all your friends and family members who put in 8 hours a day, 5 days a week? And they say they're not obsessed with money. I'm telling you, all your friends will tell you, oh, money's not that important. Bullshit. You're spending a third of your life going after it and the other third sleeping. So money is important. We agree? Yes? And so what you're doing is looking to automate the making of money. That's all this is, not create another job. Systematize and automate. Systematize, automate, increase income, build something that works, build something that other people want, automate it, systematize it so it works without you. This is what you should be doing all across your life. All across every piece, every aspect of your life needs to be automated, needs to be improved so it's more efficient. So it operates without you. Mike Shine, you ready for the book of the week?
I am. All right.
Excellent.
The book
Mike
of the
Shine.
week. Book of the week is the 4-Hour Work Week, and this is an unbelievable book. This will completely change your mindset about life, and it's a fun book to read. Stories about competing in what is it? It's not. Is it tango down?
I think it was Tango. The
in
Tango.
Argentine tango.
and boxing in Korea. Just amazing stories about how Tim Ferriss did things while he was supposed to be working. So, and it just teaches you so many valuable lessons. One that I instituted was don't answer your emails till 12 o'clock and 4 o'clock. Because I used to answer my emails first thing in the morning, and then I was handling somebody else's problem and somebody else's dreams. So that's just one of the very minor things. It's a thick book. It has lots of information in here, but it kind of like Rich Dad Poor Dad changes your mindset in your life. This will totally change whether you're an employee or an entrepreneur. This is a great book. 4-Hour Work Week. I'll put the link in the chat in 1 second, but great book. Highly recommend it.
Mike Shine, is that going to be an Amazon affiliate link?
Yes, it is. Boom.
Way to go, Mike. Way to go. I did a little tutorial the other day on how to get Amazon links for Mike and Mitch Jorsky. Mitch, did you set yours up?
That's part of the call. Yeah, watch. What is it? 100 Millionaires podcast. Forget about crypto. Best part of the call. Setting up Amazon affiliate links. I don't even know. Did we record that? Oops.
I think that was recorded. I'm pretty sure that I did put it out there. If I didn't, I apologize. We'll do it again another time.
Awesome.
Who would think that's valuable to learn how to do Amazon affiliate links? It doesn't take very long. Super easy. I finally did it the other day. Awesome.
Well, one other thing, that I haven't touched on, but that Walter touched on was his use of VAs. There's a ton of really great information from Tim Ferriss about using virtual assistants to help you with your businesses. And this book is just chock full of stuff. I highly recommend it. It's a book you can go back to. I actually listened to it on Audible and thought all the stuff that Tim was talking about was so valuable that I bought the book. So I highly recommend it. There you go. Book of the week.
Awesome. Give Mike Shine a round of applause for the book of the week. And if you want more access to the books of the week, let me share my screen because I'm so proud of all the work I've been doing on the website. If you go over here to gualtermurillo.com, which is here, and you go to Alchemist Resources, which I added that section now, and go to 52 Millionaire Wealth Principles, scroll down. Here is each wealth principle with the associated book of the week. And yes, if you click on them, those are Amazon affiliate links. I get paid for you buying books. Give Mike Shine a round of applause for helping me build the 52 Weeks to Wealth. All of the books associated, much appreciated. Wealth Principle 44 is in conjunction with all the other wealth principles. If you go back to Wealth Principle 1, think a million. Wealth Principle 2, choose a business that can make $1 million. 5, build a business. 6, build a business that must solve a problem. Once you've done every step, you automate it. Who has your money? Automate it. Track and focus your net worth. Automate it. Everything in the wealth principle should be automated. Once you've learned it, you implement it and then automate it. Is this making sense? We're grasping that this is not stuff for you to be doing every single day. It's something for you to learn, implement, and then automate so you can move on to the next one each week. Each week you are getting more powerful. Each week you're becoming more available for other tasks. Each week you make more money. Even if it's not on your bank account yet, you know that the systems and the assets that you're building are going to allow you to collect more cash. Does that make sense? And by the way, you can't make money. I didn't mean it that way. What I meant was collect more cash, right? You can't make this stuff. It's illegal, but you can collect more of it. Right? You can generate there. There's Terry Wade. You can generate more cash, and you should. It's your moral, ethical duty to go out there and collect more, to spend more time with your family, to be more involved in their lives, to be more involved in your community, to be an asset to your community. For when you walk into a restaurant, when you walk down the street, for people to say, man, thank God that man or woman exists. Thank God they exist. Thank God they've built a business. Thank God they are employing people. That's making sense. Thank God they're an artist. We got Roger Andrews, an artist on here. Thank God his art's everywhere, right? Thank God he spent time on that. Just making sense. You're important. The things that you can do are important. The impact you're going to have on your family's life is important. And it shouldn't be sacrificed doing mediocre, mundane tasks that could be automated. When I worked at Johnson & Johnson, I was in charge of, is it okay if I tell a story? Hold on. I want to get permission. Is it okay if I go back and tell a story? Awesome. Back when I worked the 9 to 5. So I was a planning analyst. And this is a role I worked up to by changing titles and jumping companies. That's all I did. I had no experience in this. I just simply changed titles and adjusted. And so I became a planning analyst at Johnson & Johnson. And my job was to identify what the machines needed to go run. CNC machines. Who's seen those before? Knows what a CNC is? Awesome. These are robots, essentially. And the robots go and they create products. And what a lot of them would do would make the knees and joints for bones, because Johnson & Johnson also has the Pew Synthes side of their company. So they create the metal parts that go inside the body. So they take the piece of metal, the arm would take it, and then it'd go and it'd drill it, and it would turn into like a femur or a patella. We can imagine those. We can see how a machine would do this, yes? And so the gentleman would sit on the side. He'd take the piece of paper I gave him, and it'd say, make 6 B11s, make 12 L13s. And then he would just type it into the machine, feed the blocks of steel or titanium into the machine, and then go on break. That's not a bad system, is it? And that machine would make way more than it would if you had 5 people sitting there, 10 people sitting there. That one machine with one person operating it can make far more than probably 100 people during the entire day. That one machine, because that machine runs all day, all night. They don't shut down. 24-hour shifts. Does that make sense? It's the power of automation, the power of technology, the power of systems. And we laugh all the time. We talk about Tesla because we're heavily invested. Mike's heavily invested in Tesla. I'm looking to catch up. And the reason is they automate everything. They're wiping jobs out left and right. That's the future. You want to be somebody who's aware of that and not a victim of it, somebody doing it. The ideal future is a place where humans don't have to work for income. But in order to get there, we have to build better systems. We have to build better machines, better robots, better systems, better processes. Does that make sense? Excellent. And don't worry, when we do get there, money will not be an object anymore. And on that journey, I'd like you to be one of those people who money is not an object for anyway. Is that okay? Is it okay if I'd like you to be super rich until one day where money no longer matters? And when money no longer matters, you'll be used to it anyway. Everybody else will be the ones adjusting. But on that path, to get to the world, to that place, to get to our social capitalism, there's a piece for you to do. There's something out there that's missing in the world. There's something out there that you're not doing enough of. There's something that nobody else is servicing. Nobody else is solving that problem. In our case, as a real estate investor, it's housing is getting too expensive, or housing is too ugly, or housing is not in the right places. Does that make sense? For us as real estate investors, we create better quality housing. And sometimes we create housing that didn't exist in the first place. Or we take units that are off market and we put them back on market. We service them, repurpose them, and put them back on the market. Sometimes we take big units, we chop them up into smaller units and create more units. In Boston, it's called condoizing. We see a lot of condoizing in Boston, where they'll go and buy a big building and they'll chop it up into smaller pieces. We've heard of these investment strategies, yes? Or development, where you take a piece of land and then you put 400 units there, creating inventory. That brings down the price of rents. It helps the whole economy out, bringing down the price of rents. Now, I know that there's many investors who just want to see rents go up. Hands to the camera, rents go up, good thing for you, yes? Me too. I love seeing rents go up. I have no problem with that because I own inventory. But as an investor, I also know if I could get rents down, if I could create a better product at a cheaper price, I'd have more tenants. Does that make sense? And so we're constantly looking to serve our clientele by creating more units. How do we get more units to market? How do we bring more to the marketplace? How do we create what the market wants? How do we give them what they're looking for at a better price, better quality? How do we service our clients, our end user? And the easiest way to do that is for us to buy it at the right price, renovate at the right price, renovate the correct way, and put them on the marketplace. And in situations like Boston, LA, New York, or Miami, where it does make sense, where the development costs are not prohibitive, where you can create new units, it makes a ton of sense to go create new units. Does this make sense? Now, not all strategies work correctly in each market. So forward doesn't make sense to go develop it. You'd lose money just trying to get it to the marketplace. But refurbishing, repurposing what already exists is necessary. And there are ways to systemize every single aspect. I don't hunt for deals actively. It's passive. I come out, I teach, I train. I let everybody know where to send the deal. By the way, GualterMorello.com, if you go to resources, there's a little button that says send Gualter a deal. Use that. You're welcome to. I will pay you. Love it. Hands to the camera if you want to send me a deal and get paid. Yes. Hands to the camera if you don't want to send me a deal because you just want to buy the deal yourself. Awesome. Give yourselves a round of applause. Both are acceptable. It's all wherever you're at in your career. Send me money. I send you money. It's all good. As long as you're active and you're building a good team that can help you expand and get to the next level, you're winning. Expand your influence. Get more people around you. Be okay with paying people. Utilize them as a system to pay. Now, I don't like paying hourly for anything. I don't like paying hourly for absolutely anything unless it's bringing money in. If it is bringing money in and I can justify those hours, then absolutely, sometimes it does make sense. But in the beginning of your business, you want to go off a commission. You want to go off a partnership. You want to go off of relationships. And if you can have somebody go and work with the commitment that once they do accomplish something, you pay them, that's scalable. You can scale that pretty quickly. Does that make sense? That's why we use real estate agents. That's why you use real estate agents to go out and do a lot of the work for you. That's why I use wholesalers to do a lot of the work for you. Hands to the camera if you're looking to buy something right now. Right now, you're looking to buy a multifamily, single family, do some flips, yes? Like right now. Yeah, hell yeah. Who wants to buy 2 this year? Who's buying 2 in 2021? Hell yeah. Give yourselves a round of applause. Systematize it. Automate it. If you can automate your deal flow, if you can set it up where your deal flow is automated, and here's a tip I'm going to give you to automate your deal flow. Write this down. Meet a ton of people. Don't disregard it because it's simple. Write this down. Meet a ton of people and then send them to my Monday call. My Monday call, I teach them how to find deals, and then you pay them when they find you something. Does this make sense? And the only thing I'll say is when you do find that deal, if you can't take it down yourself, reach out to me. I'd love to be a part of it. Does that make sense? If the deal's small enough you can handle on your own, handle on your own. If the deal's too big where you need some help, let me help you. We agree? Cool. Plain and simple. I will continue teaching regardless on Mondays, whether your people show up or not. I'm teaching it anyway for my people. And so if you can piggyback on that, then your success is faster. We agree? I could tell you go teach, learn all the stuff I've done, teach a training course. I could tell you to do that. But I think this is a lot easier for you. Who here agrees that'd be much easier just to piggyback on the systems I've already created, the process I've already created? Yeah. I promise I don't want your people. I just want you to do well. I just want this to expand. I just want to see it to the next level because I'm looking for the deals that you can't take down yet. I'm looking to get that little piece, that thing that's just too big for you. If it's $1 million deal and that's too big for you, cool, I can handle it. If it's a $10 million deal and that's too big for you, cool, I can handle it. Does that make sense? If you had a $10 million deal right now and you didn't know how to handle it, would I be valuable to you? Awesome. Would it be okay if I got some money for that? Yes? Excellent. So then anything too small, I'm not really interested in. We grasp that anything that's at your level that you can handle easily, I don't even want it. But I want you to have it so that you can get to the next level. Does that make sense? I want you richer because you're worth more to me then. Right now, you're worth the potentiality of what you're capable of. But once you're a millionaire, that's why the whole mission to build 100 millionaires. That's where this came from. Was I could surround myself with existing millionaires that I now have to go teach and train and qualify anyway, or I can build millionaires, which kind of goes to where I am, where I came from, which was broke to a $250,000 to $1 million to a $500,000. Does that to a full million to a 2 million to a next level. When I started, I was broke, and I set a goal of helping people get rich. And so what tied it all together was, as I'm looking to make my $1 billion company, I need 100 millionaires to do it. I'd rather build you. I'd rather you come in with that loyalty with, hey, let's take this vision. Let's go build 100 millionaires ourselves. A commitment to not just improve yourself, but then the next generation, the next group of people. Unfortunately, working with me does come with that requirement that I'm going to push you to go help more people. Is that okay? We grasp that I'm going to encourage you to go help more people beyond just yourself. Getting rich is not just about you. I know I got some of my introverts out there thinking, shit, like I just kind of want to do it. I just want to get the rich thing and then move on. You can. I'm not going to judge you either. Like, that's fine. Hands to the camera if you know you're one of those, right? You just kind of want to do it and like just fucking be fine. Yeah, it's all right. I don't mind. Like, I like you anyway. I really do. Like, I know Melanie's like, fuck, like, I don't want to teach. Like, but at the same time, if I sent somebody to Melanie, she'd teach them, right? Fair to say, Mel? One-on-one? Yeah, I know. You're cool like that. So it doesn't always have to be the form that I do it in. But the mentorship program is designed for my one selfish purpose of leaving this world better than I found it. And I am committed to that. I want to build 100 millionaires who will build 100 millionaires who will build 100 millionaires. I set the goal of 1 million millionaires. I set it because it seems impossible. And when I've accomplished it, then I'll know that everything that I've been teaching and training really does work. And of course, when I build 100 millionaires next year in 2021, which we're already a quarter of the way there, or a little less than a quarter of the way there, I know 2021 is very easy to attain. That it's really, really, really becoming easier and easier every year to create that million millionaires. Does this make sense? When I first started, the goal seemed impossible. I set myself 3 years to build 100 millionaires. And now I know I can do it in a year. Whatever your goals are, the more you put effort on, the more you do it, the closer you get to it. The more you systematize, the more you automate, the more you realize what you're capable of. Does this make sense? You're capable of way more than you give yourself credit for because you just haven't automated the stupid shit that's holding you back. You're capable of way more because there's a system or a person that you can bring into your life that's going to simplify everything. Sometimes the strategy is the system that you need. Sometimes just the process is what you're looking to bring into your life. Sometimes it's a coach or a mentor. Sometimes it's a process. Does this make sense? Excellent. Since it is Black Friday, we are giving a discount out on the mentorship. Dorina decided 30% off, but I said $300 looks better than 30% off. So it's $667 right now. Take action on the mentorship. If you want it, shoot Dorina a text. Dorina, if you could put your Calendly in the chat. Awesome. So if you are interested in mentorship, now's the time to get it. Get the discount now. Otherwise, you're paying full price because, hey, it's worth it anyway. It's worth $10,000, I've been told, right? Graduates who've been through the program, super valuable, yes? Excellent. Let's give them a round of applause. You guys are still closing deals, still buying stuff, still connect with me. Everybody who's been a graduate of the program, you still have access to text me, yes? I still respond? Awesome. Keep testing it. I'll keep responding. I am with you for life. The mentorship was a way for me to prove that you're with me. Does that make sense? Once you're in, you're in. If you're willing to put up $1,000 and commit 8 weeks to learning the process, I'm willing to commit the rest of your life. I don't mind. I mean, get you to $1 million so that we can go invest in bigger stuff. Does that make sense? I want you to make $1 million so we can go and invest in bigger deals together. So you can get more passive income. I'll do the finding of the deal. I'll do the managing of the deal. I just want to take your money and roll it into the deal. Does that make sense? We agree if you had $1 million and you could get 12% on it, you just do that. Yeah. Silly not to, right? So I'm looking to give you exactly what you want, but you've got to do some work to get there. You've got to commit to yourself. You've got to decide that you're worth making $1 million. You've got to decide that legacy wealth for your family is worth it. That going and investing $1 million with me 5 years from now, or 3 years from now, that brings in $120,000 every single year is worth it. Hands to the camera if you know what it is. Yeah. It's just a matter of time. Once you've committed to something like this, you've just got to keep showing up. You just keep showing up for yourself. You follow the process. I have made the coaching so affordable. I've beat up the other coaches in the program and made it so affordable. In fact, we had one coach, and he's probably one of the best of us. We had one coach whose coaching program was going from 3,000 to 5,000 to 7,000 to 10,000 to 15,000. He was getting more expensive. And then I was like, hey, like, Terry, is there a way to get your coaching program back down so it's super affordable and not taking a ton of your time? Automate and systematize. And Terry, you were able to do something like that?
Oh yeah. You want me to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah. Who here
All
would
right,
like to know how one of our coaches systematized and automated his business? Yes? That would be valuable for everybody? Awesome. Terry, go ahead. How did you automate practical purposes, right? How did you do this?
Well, one of the biggest ways that you automate is understand what your process is. Once you understand what your process is, you can refine it and then start doing it on a larger scale. And so we decided to help out this community really, and my time is really taking all of the systems and processes I was doing for one-on-one coaching for everyone I was working with. And I had 25 one-on-one clients at the time. And we took all of those processes and really identified which are the pieces that we can teach in a group way. And we put that into a group program. And right now we're selling our group program at probably about a third of what we're selling for our one-on-one coaching. And so we've reduced it quite a bit. We made it very easy. You want me to talk about what it costs, or it doesn't matter to me?
Let me find out. Would you be interested to find out what he did, or how much he changed the price, and what he was able to create? Yeah, Terry, that's consensus enough for me to find out what it is. Let's go.
All right. So we actually made it very high touch. So we're in connection with you every Tuesday, 7 p.m. And we go through some mindset stuff, some actual application of how to automate systems, how to really understand how to talk to people about what you're doing. And then every last week of the month, we go in and really focus on what your productivity is. And we identify what your top 3 goals for the next month are, and really help you to systematize, automatize that. And for that, we're charging $4,000 over payments, $3,500 paid in full. And so it costs $1,000 down to get in. It's a 6-month thing, high touch. We stay with you every month. We have a one-on-one 15-minute laser call. It's very, very high value. People are loving it. We're excited for everybody who's in it, and we're really working lockstep with Alchemist, with Walter, to make sure that you who are in the realty are really moving forward. The other thing is we have other businesses in there that really support what we're doing over here. And a lot of them are starting to move into wanting to know more about real estate because of it. And so it's really marrying the two ideas of building your wealth and building your business.
Oh, that's awesome. Give Terry a round of applause. If he can do it, you can do it in your business too. If like he had he had hit a wall, and typically what coaches do is they increase their price. Who understands that? Most businesses do the same thing. They hit a wall, they can't handle more clients, they up their price. That's not how you expand a business. If you want to expand a business, you keep your price there and you build systems like Terry did. Hey, group calls, let's get more value in. Let's bring in other people so you can listen to other people's situations and get more value out of it. Who knows that it'd be valuable to hear what other $1 million businesses are doing as you're going through a coaching set. Yeah, that's what I've always found was valuable for me. So when Terry created this program, I said, dude, that's even more value. Great job. Give Terry a round of applause.
The other piece I just say is, if you are one of those people that thinks you work better alone, we still do the one-on-one. We charge a little bit more for it, and that's okay, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I think I have a few different one-on-one clients in here who have really valued or benefited from the coaching. But it's really about making sure that you get what you need at the value you're looking for. And it's really, about how we can help you move forward.
That's awesome. Give Terry a round of applause. Again, a powerful coach. His job is to double income, right? He's not the feel-good coach. He's not going to high five you and say, hey, good job for not doing anything this week. He is the double your income every single week. You want to double your not every single
month,
double,
year,
every year, focusing every week on doubling your income for the year.
Yeah, I do have to say that I do feel pretty good. I am a pretty good feeling coach.
Give Terry a round of applause. I have had students tell me that Terry pushes really hard, but then the results are there, right? It works. Hands to the camera if you're working with Terry right now. One of Terry's students working with him. Awesome. Let's give them a round of applause. That is no easy training to jump into. To make that commitment means that you're actually going to double your income. You're taking accountability. You're forcing the scenario. You're automating your success. You're saying all I got to do is keep showing up and doing it, and you have to be successful. You don't have a choice.
I want to jump in and say, my coaching is really stellar coaching, I think. But the people who I'm working with are really who makes it work. My coaching doesn't do anything if you don't take action. One of the things that I really like about and why I'm so adamant about being part of the Alchemist group is because the people that come in here take the action, make things happen. And that's one of the things that I love to see, because Christine and I were really looking for people who want to be high performers or who are high performers and want to hit that next level. And we help you to remove the blocks. We help you to move faster. We help you to really have a different point of view on it. And everybody who's in this group that really stays in this group and wants to be on the mission to be a millionaire, we're with you, partnering with you to make it happen.
That's awesome. Give Terry a round of applause. I got partners too. We automate. We get to the next level. I want to open it up to questions. But first, let's open up to comments from the coaches and then everybody who is in the mastermind. If you're in the mastermind, we're meeting today at 12 p.m. So that is an hour from now. So make sure you get yourself some food, get something to drink. The mastermind's probably going to go 2 to 3 hours today, possibly longer, depending on the size of the questions we run into. So if you're in the mastermind, make sure you set some time aside for the next hour to make sure you go and get something for yourself to eat. And you're prepared to be locked in for the next 3 to 4 hours. That said, coaches, you're up. Let's get your take on today's lesson. We'll start with Mitch.
You got to get Ryan to speak up faster.
I thought Ryan was going to a soccer game. Did I miss him?
Yeah, Ryan's got daddy daycare duty.
There it is.
I actually jotted down a note when you were talking about the lesson earlier, and you're talking about like 1 million to 2 million to 4 million. And I was thinking, I'm like, you know what? That's great. But honestly, I'm all about doubling my passive income. And if I can somehow do that without, that net worth number increasing, then fine. They usually go hand in hand. But the bottom line is I'm focused on doubling the passive income. So whatever it is. So it's just like, 25, 50, 100, 200. So if I can generate 200,000 passive income off of like 2 million, let's say, then screw it. Like, I don't need 5 million. Am I going to keep trying to grow? Yes. But my focus is doubling the passive income.
So
potato.
I love it, Mitch. So here's just a reminder. And look, we're all growing. We're all getting to that next level. Is it okay that even the coaches are growing, that we're all looking to double constantly and our education's adjusting? Mitch, let me remind you, a business is worth its income times 3. And so if your income is doubling each year, your net worth is also doubling.
Hand in hand. Just
Mitch
which
Jorsky
number you're
a round of
focusing on,
applause.
that's all it is.
Building that passive income, building the passive income. That's all we focus on. Increase your passive income because that's what increases your net worth. Is this making sense? The lesson that the Scaredy Cat is bringing on, the courageous cat, courageous lion.
Yes, go from being a scaredy cat to a courageous cat. And
Hey,
that is what we do here.
if you can at some point, and this is for everybody on the call, everybody on Facebook, if you can send Mitch Jorsky a text message or a DM or drop a comment on his Facebook page, we want him to change his brand to something more empowering for him, something like Courageous Lion. So yeah, shoot him a text or an email or a DM.
I think it should be Courageous Kitty.
Mitch is he's locked into the brand and he's uncomfortable shifting. He's put so much mental asset, financial asset out there, and he's feeling like, the brand isn't right for him. Like, I know he feels that because he's mentioned it a couple times, but he just needs a little bit of courage from everybody. So if you could send him a little message and say, hey, Mitch, whatever you change it to, we love you either way. I think they go a long way. Everybody agree they can do this today? Yes, small little piece. Awesome. I expect that to happen in the next 5 minutes. So if you could just, the other coaches
I don't even
go.
like you right
just
now.
put Mitch's phone number in the chat, and so we can all do it right now.
Yeah, no.
Mitch, I am on a
pass.
mission to make you a Deca millionaire, man. I got to do what I got to do. We need a better, stronger brand, and you already know it. So
Deca Cat.
Deca Cat, here we go.
Listen, the Scaredy Cat brand is just a starting point for those that are, scared to pull the trigger and to, invest in their financial future and to, because in the end, any investment has risk, right? And that's what everyone's afraid of. They're afraid of losing money. They're afraid of, buying a, money pit property. They're afraid of investing in Bitcoin and it going to zero. You name the investment, someone's afraid. So that's really what the point of that is. It's just like, let's take you from that fear to being, a courageous cat or whatever it is. So maybe we need to change the subtitle of the brand. But in the end, I still want to help scaredy cats because there's a lot of people scared out there, especially when it comes to buying homes. And I remember this conversation coming up so many times. And that's how part of how the brand got born, where I talk to people about real estate and they're like, oh, I'm thinking about buying my first property, but I'm scared. Like literally, like that kept coming up, but I'm scared. Like that's what people would say all the time. I could be at like a dinner party. I could be out having a drink. I could be at a real estate meetup, whatever it was. I get into a conversation with someone and like, oh, I want to buy my first home or I want to buy my first property, but I'm scared. Like that was always the punchline at the end. And I was like, all right, clearly there's a need here. Like, let's find these scared people and move them past the fear. So, I don't know. That's why I do embrace that part, but I get what you're saying. And yeah, we'll evolve. But for all my scared folk out there, I got you. Let's do this. Let's get you past the fear. Especially if it comes to real estate investing and it's new to you, that is where I can really help you. My book is kind of like the blueprint for newbies. And, my coaching really gets you through that first process of finding your first rental property, closing on it, and then figuring out what's next. Right. I want to get to the point where you don't need me. That's the goal.
Hey, that's how you automate, right? Train them, teach them so they can go evaluate their own deals.
And it goes back to the cliche saying of, you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, you teach him how to fish. I'm teaching people how to freaking fish because the bottom line is, you know what? Unlike Galter, I don't want to deal with you my whole entire life.
Give Mitch a round of applause.
Get you there.
I like that. You know what? You can stay the Scaredy Cat a little bit longer. The brand is powerful. It's actually the reason that I wrote the word broke on here and 250,000 instead of million. So you know what? You and I are the same person, man. I appreciate everything you do for the community.
Tom has a great subtitle.
What is it?
Tom has a pretty darn good
Roaring
subtitle.
Toward the Lion in You. I actually freaking love that.
Roaring Toward the Lion in You. Awesome job, Tom. Give Tom a round of applause. Love that. Tom actually just joined the mentorship and we'll be starting this Monday night. So let's give Tom a round of applause. Phenomenal job. Congratulations, Tom. Welcome to the club, brother.
Hell yeah. And for all the newbies out there, if you're not using a rental property calculator to look at deals and analyze deals, I'll drop a link into chat. I have a free online property calculator. So start doing the mental reps. They talk about that in sports, doing mental reps. Well, you got to do the same thing when it comes to analyzing deals.
Let's go and analyze a deal every single week. Analyze 5 deals every single week.
I was going to say, come on now.
Yeah, use Mitch's calculator. It'll help you with the process. People ask the question all the time, how do I evaluate a deal? How do I evaluate a deal? Mitch has written dozens of articles on it. He's written the book on it. He wrote the Scaredy Cat guide to the calculator on his website to evaluate deals. Who here knows that they know how to evaluate a deal 100%, no problem? Who here knows they could use some practice? Awesome. Jump in the calculator, reach out to Mitch. He'll get you going on the process. Mike Shine, your take on today.
Well, first of all, I was looking on Facebook and Yvette Casey said, I'm excited, just signed up. So nice job, Yvette.
Awesome. Give Yvette a round of applause.
Oh,
Welcome
awesome.
to the game, Yvette.
Yeah. And for me, Walter, you were just talking about how coaches are continuously learning ourselves. And I know I'm working daily on automation in my closing business, taking more and more things out of what I do daily that other people can do. Kind of like Drew Martin says, minimum wage activities. If there's something like doing a notary, just saying sign and date. I have my daughters getting their notary public so that they can do the closings for me, so I don't have to be there, so I can go buy big properties with Mitch Jaworski down in Florida.
I love it.
That's the game plan.
Hell yeah, brother.
And I just, this is really a little bit off subject, but I have an extra recommendation for today. If you haven't seen the movie Yes Man, or if you haven't seen the movie Yes Man in a while with Jim Carrey, I recommend you watching it, because it's a great, we watched it again last night. It's just so empowering and funny at the same time. So Yes Man with Jim Carrey, it's free on Netflix. So there you go.
I love that movie. Give Mike Shine a round of applause. Our coaches are amazing, are they not? They're valuable people. They're contributing. They're giving back. There's also millionaires in this community who are giving back, and they really are valuable. So let's give our silent millionaires a round of applause as well. You don't get as much attention as our coaches do, but I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for everything you contribute and all your thoughts. I do have one statement that I want to make that I hope I didn't just forget. Yeah, I did. I think I did. Yep. So, well, I'll mention it at some point when I figure it out again. Questions on automation. Anything that came up today? Damien, Julia. Damien first. Yep.
Okay. All right. I got a question. So,
Go ahead, Damien.
has anyone used VAs to automate making offers on properties? And what was the success, and how did you actually go about doing that and training them?
Okay, great question. Yes, Ron and I did that. We were doing it on market properties, and so anytime something would come on the market, they would write up an offer and submit it via email with our pre-approval, and it was just came on market, email with offer was just sent out automatically, and the offer was based on our typical numbers. She would just go and run the 70%. She'd look at Zillow, run a 70%, and add 40,000 to it, right? And that was just what we would do. If our offer went in and for whatever reason we found it was too high, we would just renegotiate afterwards or back out of the deal entirely.
Oh, interesting. All right. Thanks for that. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Great question. Give Damien a round of applause. Damon, I thought of you as I was driving through Philadelphia and New Jersey.
Nice. You should have stopped by without a beer.
I know it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, but I bet you probably would have been up. So
It probably would have been. And the bars in New York are open till 4. So
it would have worked out for us. It's all right. I don't know if I needed another drink right after Thanksgiving. So, Julie, your question.
I don't know if it's necessarily a question, but probably more of a statement. I like to speak up for maybe some of the people that, might not touch upon how much fear can be crippling. I mean, I'm sure that's a big problem in our minds as humans. And working for over the past 25 years as an employee, and just transitioning over to entrepreneurship a year and a half ago, I have to say fear is crippling me from putting a system and automating a business where I'm still operating from that employee mindset because of all of the years I've had working in that capacity. So with coaches sharing stories of how they may have overcome some of those fears can help some of us out there that still struggle with that.
I
That would
love
be
that.
that would be awesome if coaches could have share some of those stories on how you've overcome that fear. Let's
And
go.
and Julie, what fear particularly is getting you right now? Because I think any one of us could come up with a good story for you.
I'm talking like transitioning over from, I have a job. I basically, as an entrepreneur, it's a job for me right now. So stepping it over that boundary and like getting into the automated process of running a business and not thinking from the employee mindset is horrifying. I mean, that's just, I'm
Yeah.
trying to share what's going on in my mind.
I love that. I love give Julie a round of applause for having the courage to mention that, you know, she does have that fear, to admit it. We've
Oh, yeah.
we've all had that experience. And I will tell the story. Coaches, you mind if I tell mine? I know each one of you's got yours. So when I quit my job, I remember crying, like literally crying the day that I quit. You know, and I am a guy, and so I don't want to admit it publicly in front of everybody, but because Julie, you're open with us, I'll tell you the story. I was working at Johnson Johnson. This was the last job I had worked. I worked up the ladder. I think I was making $75,000 a year, and I had bought 2 rental properties, and I'd started a side business that my wife was running. We had a wedding invitation company. I had 2 rental properties, and I'd had $25,000 saved in the bank. And I remember thinking, at this point, I can technically probably cut all my expenses down to be $3,000-$4,000 a month and live pretty tight. And then with that 25,000 saved, if I put all my effort into helping my wife build her business, then reasonably, I think that we could make this work. And I remember I was going through a situation with my boss at work, and she wanted me to do something, and I was just like, no, I'm not doing it. And I walked outside and I called my wife, and I was on the phone crying. I was like, look, like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm done just being somebody who bends over for somebody and bends over backwards and doesn't do what they want to do. Doesn't, like, I felt, you know, that I wasn't pushing hard enough in the business that I wanted to push, and I was doing something for somebody else, and it was very emotional. And I remember, like, just being like, look, like, I don't know what to do, but I'm not doing this anymore. And I obviously can't quit unless I have your permission. But, you know, I was begging for permission. And she was pissed, but she also knew that I was done. And, you know, she gave me permission. I went in, I was like, peace. And I never looked back. And to be honest, I should have waited longer. To be perfectly honest, I should have saved up a little bit more. I should have built a little more income. I should have paid closer attention to my relationship with my wife. And because we ended up getting a divorce 6 months later. So there was a lot of mistakes that I made during that time, but I don't regret any of it. Look, I'm a multimillionaire now. I have hundreds of students that I've helped all across the country. I have each and every one of you who's here building yourselves, getting to the next level. Each one of you that I can call a friend who, if I needed a ride from the airport, I know I've got a ride. If I wanted to go out and talk to somebody about a deal that I was doing, everybody on here would be interested in hearing about that deal. Fair to say? Awesome. And so at the time, I was afraid I was going to lose my friends going through a divorce. At the time, I was afraid I was going to lose all my finances by not working that job. Now, you couldn't pay me to go work for somebody for 40 hours a week. You couldn't pay me to be married to that woman anymore. I found, like, even the friends that I've adjusted to, I'd rather spend more time with you guys. With you, if I could spend more time with you every week, I would do it, right? Like, I think about the hour I would add to my life, and it's more time with you, right? That's where I find my fulfillment. That's where I find that my life means something. Does that make sense? So yeah, you're having fear. Sure. Of course, it's different. It's change. It's supposed to be painful. Your mind is holding you back. Your subconscious mind is designed to keep you comfortable. It's designed to keep you right where you're at. It's not designed to grow you. It's not designed to move you forward. It's designed to keep you comfortable, protect you from change. Here's the problem with that. The best things in life are outside your comfort zone. The best things in life are just outside of what you've been doing. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. If you want to double your income, double your net worth, something new has to happen. For me, every year, I've had to gain a new skill. I've had to gain a new friend. I've had to gain new knowledge, access to new people. Does that make sense? Build better relationships with the people who are already serving me, people who are already serving my goals, serving my needs. Does that make sense? My coaches, a tighter relationship with the coaches, tighter relationship with the guys who are in my business, managing my properties, managing the deals that we're doing. This is something you can do. We agree? It's worth it. Awesome. Awesome. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, Julie, I also would say it's not all or nothing. You can keep your job. I would recommend, if you haven't read it yet, Set for Life, because there really is a runway that starts with getting 25,000 in the bank, running up to 100, and you don't have to quit your job. In fact, Walter constantly tells people who come into this program saying, I hate my job, I want to quit tomorrow. He's like, whoa, 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 don't do that. So it's not as scary as you have to jump off a cliff into the abyss. You can keep your job, make the money to back yourself up, get to financial freedom, and keep going. And there's plenty of time, because Walter's program is like 3 to 5 years to be a millionaire. So it's perfect.
Give Julie a round of applause. Like, we've all been there. Hands to the camera if you've been
And
there.
give the coaches a round of applause. We really need those examples to, you know, apply to our own situations and get to that next level. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Let's give the coaches a round of applause. Thank you, Julie. That's a good point. Thank you,
I want to
guys.
say something really quick.
Go ahead, Terry.
To Julie and anybody else who's struggling with that type of thing. Those are exactly the areas that we really focus on, is removing the fear so you can go faster, because the fear is really us talking to us about what might happen. And so when you have some strategies and tools to put that aside so you can clear your track and you can move forward on your track to becoming a millionaire, that's where we start moving forward. That's where we start really being able to believe in ourselves and grow faster. And the books are amazing, and I love all of them. I think I'm going to put the 52 on my website too, and figure out how I can do that Amazon thing.
I'll show you
I
how to
wasn't
do
on
the
that
Amazon
call.
links.
I
You
missed
can
that
go ahead
call.
and
I
use
was
our
in a
links.
thing. But yeah, that's what I'll do. Thanks, Ron. I will make you money, because that's what I do. But really, the whole idea is the books give us the information. The coaches help you how to understand how to apply it and start really putting it into practice. And that's what's really going to help. And so, jump into coaching programs, talk to us more. If you have any apprehension, it's probably because that fear is telling you a story that isn't really true. We'll help you to remove it. We'll help you to get moving forward, because that's what we do.
And
Awesome.
and actually, to just piggyback on that, if you need proof, if you're one of those people, there are actual people who've been through this program, like Ryan McGovern and Andrew Casal and Anthony Walker. These are all real people that
those are all my students.
Yeah,
They're all mentorship students. They're in both programs.
and they're all actually bought multifamily units since they've gotten into this program. So yeah, that's a good
right. And here's the thing. Walter started mentoring them. They jumped into my program. They started really moving faster. They had Mitch help with identifying and doing the numbers. God dang it. And then Mike
Identifying
Shine's doing the
properties.
closings. And so we're all working as a team to lift you guys up.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. And
Let's-
so that's what we want to do for every one of you.
Yeah, it's
Over and over and over.
just shout out my wife Brenda's sister Debbie is on this call, and I was talking to her this morning about that, and about just the fact that this community really raises you up and really keeps you accountable, keeps you going, and that it's a good place for anybody to be. So you're in the right place, Julie. So
Thank you. No, I absolutely see it with my own eyes. I mean, it was the call with Terry, and he, said, if you go through this coaching, we'll take your business to the next level. That started bringing on the fear. I'm like, holy crap, there's an opportunity for this to actually work.
Mm-hmm.
So
Fear
thank
of
you, Terry.
success.
That's what kind of where it started again to
See,
bring,
Yeah.
I put something in the chat earlier that the fear and exhilaration, or nervousness and exhilaration, is the same physical feeling. And so we interpret it, and the story comes out that we're scared and, oh my God, I got to stop. But it's the same experience in our body. So I always question people when they say they're scared. Are you scared or excited?
Yeah.
Because one, you're going to hesitate. Two, you're going to move forward. And moving forward always helps that feeling turn into a success, into a gratitude, into an empowered, courageous feeling. And then you move from a scaredy cat to a courageous lion. See how I did that? Boom.
Bringing the brand back. I love it. Give the
and to-
coaches a round of applause. Give Julie a round of applause. And if you read the chat, Gary has some good advice in there as well. Some of the coaches have been in the chats as well. The chats are valuable. You can download them. If you go to the little 3 buttons at the bottom there, hit that download button and you can review. I've seen a lot of real estate agents, investors putting their criteria and putting their information in the chat as well. So all very valuable content in addition to this lesson. If you want more of the 52 Weeks to Wealth, you can go to YouTube. I have recorded them all. They are all on YouTube, and you can watch the sessions. I will be having them transcribed so you can get them in written form, shorten it up a little bit for those of you who like bullet points. That is coming out sometime next year. I will be writing the book, 52 Weeks to Wealth, and that'll be a nice, easy book that you can go through 4 or 5 pages on each wealth principle. Who knows if that'd be valuable? Who thinks the 52 Weeks to Wealth in a book would be a valuable form? Okay. So that is one of my projects. For now, it is on the website. The principles themselves, you can grab the books. This week's book is 4-Hour Work Week. Here's my one caution to the 4-Hour Work Week. And most of us have read it before. Yes? Hands to the camera if you've read that book, 4-Hour Work Week. So here's the caution that goes with the book that most of us will forget to mention. After you read the 4-Hour Work Week, you will never want to go back to work again. And so I strongly suggest reading a book like Sell or Be Sold or 10X Rule, something after that so that it motivates you again. Because after the 4-Hour Work Week, you're just like, fuck this. I'm going to go and learn how to tango in Spain.
The book that I would suggest after 4-Hour Work Week is If You're Not First, You're Last.
There you go. Grant Cardone, If You're Not First, You're Last. So read the 4-Hour Work Week this week. If you're in our 52 Weeks to Wealth, if you're reading the book a week with us, then read the 4-Hour Work Week. But then right after it, actually, let me see what the next one is. Week 45. Richest Man in Babylon. That one may motivate you, but not the way If You're Not First, You're Last. If You're Not First, You're Last, like a kick in the teeth. And it's perfect. It's perfect for what's coming, right? The economy is, it's been booming for a while, and I see some change on the horizon. Good for all of us because all we do, and I had this conversation with my brother yesterday, and his girlfriend is super, super, super socialist democratic. And she told me, she said, well, like, what will you do now that Biden's in? I'm like, make money. Same thing I've always done. I'll just make money. And she was like, well, what about the tax benefits? I was like, yeah, we're the rich. Like, we just adjust. We just pivot. If they change a tax benefit, we change.
Make more money.
Yeah, we just increase income. Everybody agrees that no matter what happens, you'll make more money. Yes. It does not matter what the external world does. You just have to add more value. Just create more, expand more, help more. Go ahead, Mike.
I respectfully disagree. I'm just going to read 4-Hour Work Week, and then I'm just going to make massive income from passive income, and I'm never going back to working hard. So.
Give Mike a round of applause. So that caution.
I gotta rebut.
Yeah,
hey,
I love it.
When you have the 4-Hour work week down,
yeah,
what you're now working on is making it permanent by really making your job to automate everything. And so, you can't just read the book. Maybe you can. Maybe you're the one in a million, but I can't just read a book and have it done the next day. So if you're not first, you're last. You take those principles and put it into building that 4-Hour work week, you're set.
If you ever listen to Tim Ferriss talk about this book, he beta tested the title. He often says it's a cheesy title. There is a lot of work that goes into it. So Terry, I agree with you. But the book does have a lot of stuff for you to do to get to the automated stage. So
Right.
you can just use this book, but it does require work. But when you get to the end of it, you've got
The setup is always the most work.
Yeah.
Getting it
Yeah.
systematized, getting it. I mean, think about it. We experienced that firsthand, getting you guys all automated with the crypto stuff, and we're still tweaking. You guys got one more change to do still. I mean, we're what, 3 weeks in now, but
Yeah.
we're at that finish line, and now you guys will just be earning passive income off your crypto. It took us 3 weeks to get it all in place, but now you're there. So, case in point.
is that? How awesome is that?
Give Mitch Shorsky a round of applause. I now own a bunch of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Leo coin, and I'm on the blockchain, I think.
Yeah.
Listen, Coulter, there's one quote I wanted to throw out that touches on all this, and it's, I always thought it was me against the world, and then I realized it's just me against me.
Yep. 100%.
And exactly, and that's like that statement right there is literally what like someone like Terry helps you conquer, like basically winning yourself, because that's really the battle. And that's, you know, where that whole fear comes in and what Julie was talking about. And we've all been there, and you know, we all have those stories, and I have my stories in terms of that transition. And the fear is always, it's fear and greed are the two biggest human emotions, and fear is actually more prominent. So it's always going to be there no matter what you do. So just got to defeat it.
Greed
I
is
love
fear.
that. And it's got me thinking about a challenge to put out to everybody, especially the coaches. I'm going to set this challenge out to everybody today. Within the next hour, post on Facebook Live a 1-minute video of you expressing your biggest fear about success. Your biggest fear about success. Do a Facebook Live 1-minute video. Your biggest fear about success. Here's what that's going to do. It will attract people who've also experienced that fear, and you'll gain support from them. And the people who do not experience that fear and are not interested in that conversation, you will notice disappear from your life. You're welcome. Does that make sense? So it's a challenge. Some of you are afraid of Facebook Live. Cool. That's the fear. Easy enough. And for some of you who have no problem with it, excellent. You'll probably be the first ones to drop your comment out there and create that for the world. But share your fear, and then share that next week's wealth principle is wealth principle 45. Invest in assets that increase time, energy, and income streams. Invest in assets that increase time, energy, and income streams. And that's what I'll be talking about next week. So make your video, let everybody know about next week's video, and put the link, waltermorello.com. I appreciate each and every one of you filling the world with more positivity, sharing your pain so that you can also share your gain. Cheers to your success. When you have a choice,
Always work with
Always
the
best.
best.
the best.